What is up, players? It's Warboss Tay up in this mug, trying a new style of video today because I've been looking a lot at Games Workshop's Warhammer community articles, and this latest one revealing their new Kill Team box got me a little heated. So, the Death Cult Assassins, one of the most iconic and brutal warrior cults in the Warhammer 40k universe. I've really enjoyed their miniatures for a long time. And they've only had two that really stick out in my mind. But when I think about classic Warhammer 40k aesthetic, this is right up there with the old metal Sisters of Battle and the old Necromunda miniatures as well. Now, Games Workshop has given us a new sculpt in plastic, but does it live up to the legacy of its predecessors? Spoiler alert, no! So I'll be the first to say I really enjoyed the old sculpts of the Death Cult Assassins, and I think it really embodies their lore and their fiction. It makes them different than any other iteration of a 40k or far future grimdark assassin. They're fast, they're deadly, and really when you look back at their lore, it's just insane. They're not just your run-of-the-mill assassins, and they're not just your run-of-the-mill religious zealots either. They're emperor-worshipping murder cultists who view the bloodletting as a holy sacrament. Some of them are even full-on cannibals, and they believe that consuming their enemy's flesh lets them absorb their prowess in battle. Just wild stuff. And Games Workshop used to nail this aesthetic. I mean, just look at this artwork. This is what a Death Cult assassin should look like. And it is from the Wrath and Glory artwork for the Warhammer 40k role-playing game. So it is official artwork. They are sinister, striking, and absolutely terrifying. And yeah, I'm not making that stuff up from earlier. Death cultists are often cannibals that drink the blood of their victims and offer it to the Emperor. It's that extreme devotion that makes them stand out from other sorts of assassins that you see in the lore. Ugh. Honestly, it's baffling that Games Workshop's latest Death Cult Assassin looks like this. I mean, okay, it's not the worst miniature that they've made recently, but it feels very safe. We've gone from a dynamic, acrobatic, death-dealing miniature in metal to what looks like just a guy from your local LARP group who discovered dual wielding. It looks like something so safe. His bodysuit looks like it was just taken from the Eldar with the leather that blends into little bits of armored padding. And he's got an Assassin's Creed hood over his head. And he's just holding two boring old knives. He's not doing an acrobatic pose. He's not leaping around. He's not doing anything special. Looks like a guy holding two knives with a hood over his head. And what is really so frustrating is that if you take a look at what the Necromunda design team has been doing recently, at the same time, in the same timeline that this bland vanilla slop is coming out, it is absolutely phenomenal what kind of sculpts they're creating and designing. They're weird, exaggerated cybernetic pit fighters, the grotesque chem-addicted gangers, the absurd levels of detail on every single sculpt. They are sculpting in resin and they are specialized miniatures, but it is like the Necromunda range is having all the fun while the 40k side plays it weirdly safe. This is how you do crazy religious fanatics right. You have exaggerated proportions, intricate details in the cloth, and over-the-top weapons that all ooze character. You get a sense of who they are just at a glance. You don't need to know anything about these miniatures, but you understand what they are by their proportions, by what they're wearing, by their pose. Then this new Death Cult Assassin, it's like they forgot to turn the volume up past mildly edgy rogue. Then what makes this thing even more frustrating is that Games Workshop had the perfect opportunity to introduce a truly striking new Death Cult Assassin model, and they completely fumbled it. This should have been a no-brainer. A model like this would have been a fantastic way to bring Road Trader players from the computer game and the video game onto the tabletop side of Warhammer 40k. Guys who've never picked up a miniature before would have seen that in this game, Kill Team, you can actually include a Death Cult Assassin like Kibella in your party. You can build her up and you can paint her up and have her physically manifested in front of you on the game board and just pour your creativity and artistry into it. It should have been a home run. So honestly, here is my theory. Games Workshop knows exactly what they're doing. Maybe they're deliberately defanging and declawing the 40K miniatures that appear on store shelves. They want to play it safe. If you want weird, over-the-top, grotesque, or extreme designs, go to Necromunda, which, let's not forget, is a special order-only range aimed at older, more advanced hobbyists. You have to go and order it online. They're not going to be stocking the shelves at your local Games Workshop store. Meanwhile, the models that parents will see when they're browsing their Games Workshop store to buy their kids' first Warhammer 40K starter set, they're getting noticeably tamer. Remember back when Warhammer Fantasy got blown up and Warhammer Age of Sigmar came out, they completely got rid of Slaanesh for a while as a god, as an entity. So there were no Slaanesh models. There was no mention of Slaanesh in the lore. They just got rid of that whole concept because they didn't want to go too far into that design aesthetic. I think they didn't want to pack the shelves with models that didn't look family or kid friendly. Even though I would say most of the models don't look kid friendly when you consider that what they have now for the Hedonites Knights of Slaanesh is far and away crazier and weirder than a lot of the stuff they used to have. Also, fun fact, this is the first Death Cult Assassin model that's been explicitly male. Almost every previous iteration has been female, which emphasized the assassin's agility and precision over brute force. Now, whether this is just a random design choice or part of a broader shift in how Games Workshop portrays these units, it's an interesting change, and I don't think it's a good one. I think they should have stuck to the female acrobatic Death Cult assassins that look like Kibela. Anyway, what do you guys think? Am I being too harsh, or do you feel like this is a new sculpt that is missed the ball, that's just missing something? Leave me a comment below. If you enjoyed these kinds of deep dives into the Warhammer miniatures, then I hope you consider subscribing to the channel and becoming a channel member. I'm going to be offering more perks to channel members, as well as opening up my Patreon again. So if you are already subscribed to me on that, thank you for making these videos possible. I truly appreciate the support. And if you want to get early access to my videos, behind the scenes hobby updates, or some exclusive painting guides, then I'm going to be adding those to my Patreon and my channel memberships as well. I'm slowly building that up, so no pressure, don't worry about that. But thanks for watching, and thanks for supporting me. I'll see you in the next one.